this Sunday.
Because I am telling you, as a prophet, I am going to beat you, Chris Jericho.
Do you even understand the depth of what you stepped into?
And you cannot tell me that there is a person out there alive who thinks MJF has more heart than me!
Blacked out rage is the only thing I felt in that moment. It's the only thing I've felt ever since.
When you put me in a Texas death match, it will be the end of you.
I know the responsibility and the weight that this holds.
Bryan Danielson arguably is the best pure wrestler in the game. But the best pure wrestlers don't always win.
Before the first bell tolls, AEW presents Countdown to Revolution.
I'm not going to judge anybody's character. MJF can be perceived as somewhat questionable.
I am going to expose you.
His ego, his money, and most of all, his championship.
MJF came out into this ring and said he hates Bryan Danielson.
MJF, if nothing else, is a very cold and calculating man.
He tries to break the arm of a friend of mine for over 20 years, and he hates me.
He will do anything to keep that title.
Hi, Birdie. Hi, buddy.
I don't think Bryan even realizes how low Max is willing to go.
He put a bounty on my head, tried to injure me, and he hates me. MJF hospitalized my mentor, William Regal, and he hates me.
We're not here to make friends, baby girl. We're here to take over.
These outsiders coming into the AEW locker room have this sense of superiority or entitlement, like they're better than these women that have been grinding and building this division up since day one.
If you're making people angry, you're generating a reaction.
Where are you, Jamie?
If you screw over my friends like that, you screw over me. Is it to prove that you're above these other women? Grow up.
I've been here 5 months and I have already taken over, Jamie. And I'm coming for that championship, baby girl.
Ruby Soho tired of being pulled in all these different directions.
Can a woman really be her own island?
Ruby Soho's trying to not take sides.
I've never tried to be a homegrown. I've never tried to be an outsider. But what I will try to my damnedest is to be the AEW Women's World Champion.
Honestly, I was blank, man. I was numb.
As if it's not enough. Joe with those scissors in his hand.
Joe can be very sadistic.
Cutting the hair of Wardlow.
He wants to tap in. He wants to hit you right where it hurts.
He tried taking my career. And then to take it a step further, he took the only thing that he knew I had more of an emotional connection with than anything, and that was my hair.
You told me that same sob story at dinner at a bar. I knew right there exactly where I needed to strike.
Samoa Joe has this switch. Joe walks out that curtain, that Samoa Joe music hits, and he is in business mode, and it is terrifying.
If you pull back on Joe just this much, you're in trouble.
Honestly, it's really hard to bet against Chris Jericho. He has been there, he's done that. So to come out of Revolution as the better man, one-on-one, no other BS, nobody at ringside, and I actually do see him walking away with the win at Revolution. Sorry, Ricky.
Ricky, he's a reaction guy. He processes information quickly. He's very athletic. And he's got a hell of a spirit. And he's proven he can beat Jericho. But not this time.
I gotta tell you, I think the experience and being so savvy, I do think that Jericho nudges out of victory here.
Even though the Jericho Appreciation Society is banned from ringside, I think Chris Jericho may have 1, 2, maybe 3 more tricks up his sleeve, and he's gonna leave Revolution as the winner.
I mean, if me and Hangman walk down a dark alley, who the do you think's coming out?
You.
No rules, no ref. One guy enters, one guy leaves. Who the do you think's coming out? If you don't want it to be over, then it doesn't have to be over. Just because you don't know the counter to 7th grade wrestling moves.
After all this that we have seen, the hard-hitting action, it was just a simple counter that won the match.
I'm supposed to be celebrating here. I won 2 out of 3. I should be happy.
You won 2 out of 3. What is he upset about? After you lose 2 out of 3, you say, all right, I lost. Shake hands, you're the better man. You're the better man, let's do it again in the year. Let's run it back.
Well, that was the best case scenario. That he got pinned and didn't get knocked out and didn't get his arm snapped, didn't get concussed again. That was the best case scenario for him. He should be happy.
Yeah, you'll beat him 3 out of 5. Beat him 5 out of 7. As many as he wants. As many as he wants. He'll keep winning.
If you don't learn your lesson, maybe it's time for another one.
You want to talk about our third match? Our third match, I beat Jon Moxley's ass straight for 2 minutes, and at the very last second, he reached up, grabs my head, gets me through the old ball and chain pin, and manages to, I think he would agree, escape.
If I had to think of one word to describe Moxley and Hangman Adam Page, this rivalry, physicality.
It's about more than wins and losses. It's about more than championships. This has become deeply personal.
I know you think we got unfinished business, but we don't.
This is purely just 2 wrestlers wanting to prove to be the best.
If there's ever a definition of slobber knocker, it's Moxley and Page.
There is no chance that you will ever beat me again.
If you'd have asked me about Jon Moxley months and months ago, I would have said that I maybe admired him.
I think it ends when 2 men go back in that cold, dark alley and only one gets to come out.
These 2 guys are gonna collide, and we've seen their collisions before. They've both put each other on the shelf and in the hospital and whatnot.
Texas death.
Buckle up, it's gonna be nasty.
The idea of a Texas death match is to not answer the bell.
It's a match built for destruction.
If you want to go down that road, a true war of attrition, absolute nuclear winter bombs going off everywhere, only one of us survives. All you gotta do is say the goddamn word.
You want me to paint a picture of what the match is going to be like? I'll paint a picture of Revolution in blood. Moxley loves to bleed. He bleeds all the time. Well, he's damn sure going to bleed at Revolution enough to paint the entire canvas red.
I think that this is going to be almost a therapeutic moment for both of these guys at Revolution. A dangerous, bloody, brutal, therapeutic moment.
When you put me in a Texas death match, it will be the end of you.
It is not something to be proud of. It is not something to aspire to. I live for this.
What could happen to me in this Texas death match after what happened in our first encounter? I don't know. And to be honest, yeah, that is a little scary.
But you are not the same animal as me.
I think this could be the scariest match we've ever seen in AEW.
Will Saraya ever get it?
We're AEW originals. She'll never get it.
It took us a little bit to figure out what the hell we were doing, and we worked our way up to the top.
Yeah! Hey, where are you, Jamie?
Before, I would have considered Saraya a diamond in the rough. Now, I'd consider her more of a dime a dozen.
The homegrown talent thing against the athletes coming in from the outside is real.
Ruby, those are your girls. I had nothing to do with that.
Ruby Soho is just caught in the middle of all of this.
She's caught in the middle. She doesn't know what side to play on.
Is she homegrown? Is she an outsider? I'm neither. I'm just Ruby.
No, Ruby. Oh, right onto Saraya. Ruby, she rolls a bridge.
Did she get her?
And gets the win. Saraya giving Ruby Soho an earful.
She's saying, you're with us.
And Ruby's screaming, enough.
Why don't we have a little bit of fun at Revolution and make it a 3-way match?
With everything that's been going on the last few weeks, and this whole conversation about where I belong and who I am, winning the AEW Women's World Championship at Revolution will solidify the fact that I've always just been me.
I think Ruby's a little bit of a lost lamb right now.
She's not really on anyone's team, and I kind of want to see it stay that way.
She could fit very comfortably in both camps. But I think Ruby Soho is focused on one thing, and that's becoming AEW Women's World Champion.
She's the underdog. But man, she's got a great heart. We've seen her bleed, we've seen her suffer, and continue to fight.
She's gonna pull this spray out.
Ruby Soho charging to the ring.
As for Ruby, we go way back, way back. And you can't run away from who you are, because I know who you are, you know who you are, and everyone else is gonna find out exactly who you are.
The AEW Women's Championship is what's at stake at Revolution.
I don't care if it's 2 women, 10 women, anybody. I know the responsibility and the weight that this holds, and everybody's gonna understand and see again why Hater hits hard.
It doesn't matter how hard you fight this. I'm gonna be walking out of Revolution with the AEW Women's Championship. I'm gonna make AEW my house.
Can a woman really be an island? Revolution? You're gonna see it.
Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks have been teaming together for maybe close to a decade. From their time in Ring of Honor to when they were a trio in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and now here as AEW World Trios champions, they know exactly what makes each other tick.
They trust each other. They really, really trust each other, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks.
You look at the chemistry amongst the elite. That's just something that you can't just instantly have that. That's something that you earn over years. You earn it by being blood. It just puts them in a different category altogether.
The Bucks and Kenny, the elite, are magical. They're close professionally, they're close off the screen, and they're going to be hard to beat.
And I think the House of Black may have just called out the AEW World Trios champions.
I think they might have just thrown the gauntlet down without saying a word.
The House of Black is maybe the most dangerous group in AEW. Their motives are only known to the members of the House of Black.
We, the House, would like to discuss your status as AEW World Trios champions.
Oh, look at this.
I think the House of Black sending a message to the champ saying we can strike anytime.
They're dangerous human beings.
Malachi Black is psychotic. The members of the House of Black almost worship him.
We have seen them destroy different groups. We've seen how brutal they can be. There's also the X factor of Julia Hart. I really think that she brings another level to the House of Black as well.
She's a little Jezebel, and she can down sure do things to help her team win and win the championship.
I feel like this is like a wrestling fan's dream. It's not just gonna be high-flying, super kicks, et cetera, There's going to be that brutality factor brought in as well from House of Black.
You absolutely never know what Malachi Black and the House of Black are going to come up with. So the unpredictability of them makes it hard to really predict what's going to happen in this match.
I'm impressed with how the House of Black has evolved. If the House of Black can control the pace, speed of the match, in other words, they got a great shot at winning. But nobody's been able to slow down and dictate an extended pace to the elite yet.
I can't bet against the elite. The chemistry, the blood relation, I mean, their time in Ring of Honor together. They know that ring awareness, they know how they function as a group, and I don't think anything can derail that.
Who will leave San Francisco as the AEW World Trios champions? It's a really tough question, and luckily I'm not the one that has to decide it.
Christian is one of those guys that has honestly laid down the foundation for a lot of what professional wrestling is today.
Let's not blur the lines of reality here, Renee. For the better part of the past 6 months, I embarrassed Jungle Boy and I beat him down at will.
And Christian has used that experience advantage to prey on the trust that Jack put in Christian and really exploit Jack's insecurities or even weaknesses.
I was done with him until I was sitting at home minding my own business and I turn on Dynamite and there's Jack Perry.
Jack said it himself. This year is the time for Jack Perry to become a singles champion in AEW.
And what's he have to say? In 2023, he's gonna win a singles championship.
I think Jack Perry is going to get his shot at becoming a champion with or without this win.
Over my dead body.
This version of Jack Perry that we're seeing, it's incredible.
The reaction to what we just saw, pretty powerful from Jack Perry.
You're dealing with one of the most incredible young athletes that the pro wrestling business has seen in years and years.
I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. Jungle Boy, you don't have it up here. You're not a finisher.
I can see this spark. I can see that this fuse has been lit within him, and I think him bringing that into the ring while also adding in all the stuff that has happened between him and Christian. It brings a different version of Jungle Boy, and I'm really excited to see what that is.
Can Jack Perry bring himself to do it?
You don't have the killer instinct to go to the next level.
He considered this man a mentor.
You hesitated, and I capitalized.
He's been waiting a long time for this opportunity.
Oh, I think we're going to see more fire in Jungle Boy Jack Perry than we've ever seen.
I love Jack Perry's game. I think he's got an unlimited future. But I'm not ever going to deviate from praising a veteran who's been a multiple-time world champion, multiple-time tag team champion.
It's an old cliche, but man, Christian Cage has literally done it all.
You are a dime a dozen. You see me? Nobody will sink to the depths that I will. Nobody can do the things that I can do inside this ring. I, on the other hand, am one of one. I treat my business like an ATM machine, and I am not done milking it dry.
After taking Christian out of action for months, I think Jack has gained a psychological edge headed into this match at Revolution.
But this needs to end, Jungle Boy.
To see who Christian turned into, to see who Jack Perry turned into.
Just like your father, you're a no-talent hack that should be thankful you got Hollywood good looks to get through life, because this business is not for you, kid.
Not seen Christian in a while, so like, what are we gonna get from Christian this time around?
You don't have the guts. You don't have what it takes. You're not a closer. You don't have any grit. You don't have anything, Jack. You don't have an ounce of what I have inside.
I think on Sunday, March 5th at Revolution, we may see the most dangerous version of Christian Cage that we've seen yet in AEW.
This would be probably the biggest single win to date for Jack Perry, if he can pull it off.
Let's go down the roster of who the Guns are defending these titles against at Revolution. Lethal and Jarrett.
There's Sam J, and there's the tall guy, and there's Jay Lethal, and there's Jeff Jarrett.
March 5th, San Francisco. It all comes to a head. We shut up the naysayers once and for all when we finally become tag team champions.
Danhausen and Orange Cassidy. Trash.
Trash? Now, Orange and Danhausen, we don't necessarily have an issue with, except for the fact they're standing in our way.
As we know, Danhausen is the most powerful AEW wrestler of all time here. And, no offense, right there.
And of course, our good buddies, the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass.
Double trash. Oh, the Acclaimed.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, we don't really have a problem with them.
Look at the pedigree. Look at the Guns. Look at the Acclaimed. Look at OC and Danhausen. And then look at this foursome. Who do you think looks like champions?
We're gonna defend these titles against all three teams and take down all three teams.
There can only be one big man in this business, and it's Danhausen and Orange Cassidy.
At Revolution, the Acclaim become two-time tag team champions.
You know, we win this match at Revolution against all those teams and become tag team champions. I become a double champion. I feel like my backpack's probably big enough for both of them.
And when that bell rings at Revolution, and still AEW Tag Team Champions!
Oh, sorry. No, that's not us. Never mind, that's stupid anyways.
The Guns. Welcome to the Gun Show.
What concerns you most about Samoa Joe?
Nothing. The only things that could have concerned me already have happened. He exposed my knee, and he took personal information and used it against me. I just never fathomed anyone taking it to that level.
We've seen Joe several times throughout his career really getting personal with people. That is sort of like the Samoa Joe specialty. He wants to tap in. He wants to hit you right where it hurts. Sometimes you can really push somebody into that mindset that you've got them shaken on the inside. But sometimes you get the other side of that where you now awaken that monster that's within them.
So there's nothing left he could do to hurt me.
Wardlow is that wrestler that I just feel like that spotlight is really circling around.
Wardlow is still waiting on the moment that he can break loose and have that great career that people have predicted for him since day one.
This Wardlow guy, whoever he is, wherever he's from, is a massive human being.
You know, he's the future of what this company can be. The guy is a bona fide star.
And if Wardlow wants to live his dreams as a top star, this is where it starts.
Wardlow, all of man's great follies, perhaps his greatest is delusion. But I'm not going to let you be delusional anymore. I am not only going to survive you, I'm going to crush you. I'm going to smash you. I'm going to do what I have done before, and that's put you on the ground.
There is the new two-time champ, the king of TV right there, baby.
Put you to sleep.
Wait, what is this?
Wardlow's not looking to talk.
And he is fired up. He is raining down shots on Joe.
Blacked out rage is the only thing I felt in that moment. It's the only thing I've felt ever since. I feel nothing but rage.
Do you even understand the depth of what you stepped into?
Joe's gonna kill you. I've had to walk around backstage listening to people talk about how Joe is the most dangerous man on this roster. No, you're not.
Wardlow, at AEW Revolution, my friend, you will have a revelation that you stood in front of the one true king of television, and you were found wanting.
At Revolution, Joe, I am going to kill you.
When Chris Jericho extended his hand, when he extended the membership to Ricky Starks to join the Jericho Appreciation Society, you could feel the condescension dripping off of Chris Jericho.
I absolutely think that Ricky Starks did the right thing by rejecting Chris Jericho's offer. Ricky Starks is a special talent.
Look, Ricky, he's out on his own now, doing his thing.
Ricky Starks' evolution has been pretty extraordinary.
Ricky Starks called Chris Jericho a leech, a vampire. I think Ricky Starks knew better. He knew what Chris Jericho was trying to do. He was trying to get one of the young hot stars here in AEW to stand in Chris Jericho's shadow, and that was not something that interested Ricky Starks.
What do I think of Ricky Starks now? The same thing I always thought about him. He's a great wrestler, he's got a great personality, he's got a great connection with the crowd. What he doesn't have is leadership and direction, and I'm gonna have to teach him more of that leadership and direction like I have for the last few months at Revolution. Like I said to Ricky Starks and Dynamite, take that victory, put it in a little box, stick it by your nightstand, look at it every night before you go to bed, cherish it, because it's never going to happen again. I tried to help you, Ricky Starks. I tried to help you avoid the ultimate embarrassment of going up to Chris Jericho, challenging Chris Jericho, and getting your ass handed to you. And that's exactly what's gonna happen at Revolution.
Whether you believe it or not, I can beat whoever I want. Because I am saying that I can do it! When I said that I was gonna beat you on January 4th, guess what? I did that. You try to get everybody involved. It didn't work out for you. Do you think that things are gonna be any different come Revolution? No, it will not! Because I am telling you, as a prophet, right now, I am going to beat you, Chris Jericho, because there's no other way. In Revolution, I am going to show you what a real leader is. I'm going to show you what a real main event level superstar is. Why? Because I am absolute Ricky Starks.
I hate you because you have had more concussions and more head trauma than anyone in the history of this business. And you're still in my sport?
He rises to the occasion and he proves time and time again just the durability of the wrestler that he is, the technician that he is.
From the moment he wakes up till the moment he goes to sleep, he's thinking about professional wrestling and ways to be the best professional wrestler in the world.
You really think you're the best wrestler in the world, don't you? But that's impossible, because I am!
I think MJF has something to prove, and I think the motivation that no one thinks MJF can hang with the challenger for 60 minutes. I think he can.
And you cannot tell me for one single second that there is a person out there alive who thinks MJF has more heart than me.
An Iron Man match, it's all Bryan Danielson. It plays right into his strengths. I think we've seen a more physical, more determined, more vicious MJF than we've ever seen, and I think we're seeing that because he realizes what he's in for.
I've called a lot of 60-minute matches. They're just devastating.
Bryan has done 4 of these matches, and Max has done absolutely nothing. But I will say, he could probably talk for 60 minutes.
What you do, Bryan, is joke when you have a big match opportunity since you've gotten here. You're a joke artist.
The injury to Bryan Danielson's shoulder is a target on his arm for MJF.
The injury to his shoulder and to his arm is a concern, but I don't think it's going to hinder him in winning this match.
This man does not give up.
Do you think there's some monster behind the mask? Do you know what I think is behind the mask? Fear.
See, this belt gives me a reason to get out of bed in the morning, because this belt stands for the simple fact that all my blood, sweat, hard work, tears, and yes, my sins, they were all worth it.
If Bryan Danielson were able to defeat MJF at the 60-minute Iron Man match at Revolution, I think that would right a lot of wrong.
You are going to put me through the hardest match of my life, but know this. After those 60 minutes are up, I will be victorious.
He's really talented. And he could be a generational wrestler if he put in the work. But he doesn't want to work the way that I work.
There are so many different things that come into play in this sport. It may all come down to just who's the hungriest that night.
This business is not about being a good human being. It's about being the best in the game. Bryan Danielson arguably is the best pure wrestler in the game. The best pure wrestlers don't always win.
After this match, I think we will then see who the best wrestler in the company is. And Max, you're great, but Bryan's the best.
I have legs that won't stop. I have lungs that never let me down. I have a heart that won't ever quit.
Ever since Bryan Danielson arrived, I thought he would be a world champion. I think he's due.
You can't match my legs, my lungs, my heart, and my determination to take that AEW championship from around your waist.